So many times after an exhausting day, all we want is to get home, relax, and play something that makes our problems disappear for a few hours. And I know how it is. There are days you come home from work completely drained, with zero energy for anything difficult, competitive, or full of pressure. That's why for today's video, I picked 10 JRPGs that are perfect for slowing down, exploring calm worlds, and forgetting that cruel reality outside for a bit. So no more stalling, let's get into the list. Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. This one would be a lot easier to talk about if the launch hadn't been so traumatic, right? If you picked it up on day one, you know exactly what I mean. It's not about the graphics. Pokémon was never a visual showcase, not even in earlier generations, and honestly, that never bothered me. The problem was that the game just didn't run properly. It froze, it glitched, it turned genuinely unplayable in more than a few moments. The launch was so technically broken that Nintendo actually apologized publicly, something they almost never do. But time was kind to this game. The free Switch 2 update pushed it to 60 FPS and improved the draw distance. I played it after that more stable update, and my honest score would be an 8. I'd only dock a point for the lack of voice acting on the characters, which I know is a silly thing to complain about. Beyond that, the Paldea region became one of my favorites in the whole franchise. The soundtrack is good enough that you can just stand still in some corner of the map doing nothing, just listening while catching Pokémon on autopilot. If you dropped off the franchise after some launch trauma, now's the time to come back. Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection was one of the few 2026 releases that actually delivered on what it promised. No exaggeration, it's one of the easiest games on this list to recommend if you want to wipe out a whole week's worth of stress. The cast is solid, but what really carries the game is the capture system. You get way too attached to the monsties you raise. And if there's one thing in this game I flat out love, it's hatching eggs. Yes, hatching eggs. Watching that little hatchling crack out of its shell and grow into a full-size dragon is just genuinely fun. If you don't immediately click with the first monster you meet, don't worry. The variety of capturable creatures here is huge. There's one that'll win you over. Fair warning, chasing the perfect monstie can turn into a full gene and skill spreadsheet if you let it. And the final bosses are legitimately tough. As for the story, it has its moments of tension, a few conflicts here and there, but nothing that takes itself so seriously it weighs down the overall mood. And honestly, that balance is exactly what makes this game work so well as a stress valve.
The airliner Lint has gone missing.
There will come a time when she has to choose her own path.
Trails in the Sky first chapter is hard to sum up without sounding cheesy, but I'll give it a shot. This remake, which came out in September 2025, revives a 2004 game that became the foundation of one of Japan's longest-running and most ambitious series. You follow Estelle and Joshua, two apprentice bracers, members of a guild that solves the problems nobody else wants to touch. Their very first task as apprentice bracers is a rescue mission involving two young boys. Shortly after that comes something far more mundane, like chasing down a missing cat. That's the whole tone. Small and ordinary at first, gradually building until you realize it has turned into a saga far more ambitious than it initially seems. One thing Falcom does really well, and something I genuinely respect, is writing dialogue for absolutely every NPC in the game, and that dialogue changes as the story moves forward. You'll walk back into the same bakery several chapters later, and the baker will comment on whatever happened in town while you were gone. It's a slow game. The first several hours are errands, conversations, and more errands. If you want action within the first 60 minutes, this isn't your game. But if you accept its pace, it's one of the most satisfying entries on this whole list. There's no padding here, just a game that knows it has time. A quick note for anyone starting now, the remake of the second chapter arrives on September 17th. That's enough time to finish this one and be ready for the next.
But how? How can I?
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is probably one of the most beautiful games on this whole list. The score is by Joji Hisaishi, the same composer behind practically every Studio Ghibli film, and honestly, the second you see the character designs, Ghibli's probably already popping into your head. The result is an art direction that feels like an animated feature running the entire time. The story follows young Evan, a king overthrown in a coup, who decides to rebuild his kingdom from scratch instead of just trying to take back the old throne. Along the way, he meets Roland, a character who's literally from another world and who joins him in that rebuild. And here's the part that might scare off anyone like me who's gotten tired of management mechanics. Yes, there's kingdom building and administration in here, but unlike some other games further down this list, that part is just one layer inside a much bigger action adventure and exploration experience. It doesn't trap you in it, it exists to support the story, not become the story. These days, the most complete way to play is through the Prince's Edition, which already bundles the base game with the expansions, and it's available on practically every platform. If you're into Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, or Stardew Valley, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin will probably win you over. And get this, the developers took it seriously enough to grow rice on their own porch just for research. They visited an agricultural university and everything. Even today, it's not unusual for a stuck player to go check the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture's website to figure out what went wrong with their crop. By day, you're out in 2D action stages, beating up demons with farming tools. By night, you head home and tend to the rice. Water level, seedling spacing, fertilizing, the right time to thresh it and dry it. Every morning, you get a report showing what improved and what got worse. And the better your rice is, the stronger Sakuna gets in combat. The harvest literally becomes your stat sheet. To me, that's the best twist in the whole game, because it never feels like a side chore. It feels like you're leveling up with a hoe in your hand. There are also the family dinners, which are probably the reason a lot of people actually finish this game. Everyone sits down, eats what you brought back from the wild, talks, and the game rewards you for it. Honestly, the farming here has real depth, and the game doesn't hand you everything on a silver platter. You learn gradually by collecting scrolls scattered across the map, and don't expect to master it in the first 5 hours. It takes the whole game, and to me, that's exactly what makes this one worth the time you put into it. WitchSpring R is probably the least known game on this list, and it's genuinely good, I promise. It's a remake of the first game in a series that started on mobile and got a full remake for PC and console in 2023 and 2024. You follow Pieberry, a young witch living alone in a forest hunted by warriors. The structure blends 3 things: training, gathering, and exploration. You train Pieberry by running, meditating, swimming, literally putting the character through workouts so she grows stronger. You gather materials across the map, and you synthesize all of it into items and into a weapon system you nurture and evolve however you want, shaping your own combat style within a pretty strategic turn-based system. On Steam, it holds a 96% approval rating, which for a mobile game remake is a surprisingly strong result. And I agree with that score. It's over 30 hours of game, and it even got a free DLC last year expanding the story past the ending. If you'd never heard of this game before today, that's fair. I didn't have high expectations going in either. LUNAR Remastered Collection came out in April 2025, and it's basically a time machine to 2 absolute classics from the 90s, LUNAR Silver Star Story and LUNAR 2 Eternal Blue, both remastered and bundled into one collection. If you've never played either one, I'd say this is the kind of RPG that helped define what well-told story even means within the genre. The first game follows Alex Noah on a journey to become a Dragon Master. The second takes place 1,000 years later with an archaeologist named Hero helping a mysterious girl stop a god of destruction. Turn-based combat, where position, range, and speed actually matter. What this remaster adds on top of the high-definition art is a brand new full English voiceover, remastered cutscenes, and the option to speed up battles, for anyone who wants the nostalgia without the CD-era RPG pacing that used to come with it. Honestly, this is the kind of game that makes the list not because the systems are light, but because the story is good enough that you can just trust it and let it carry you. Atelier Ryza is probably the coziest entry point into the whole Atelier series, and I say that with full confidence. Honestly, I'd recommend pretty much any Atelier game, even the newer ones, but I love Ryza so much I had to put it on this list. The protagonist is Ryza Stout. Everyone calls her Ryza, a girl bored out of her mind with life on Kirkin Island, who heads out exploring with her friends Lent and Tao just to escape the routine. From there, she becomes an alchemist and sets off on an adventure to uncover the island's secrets. The game's official theme is summer memories, and honestly, that's exactly the feeling it delivers. Nostalgia for a summer you never had but wish you did. And this is a game that leans hard into a cozy experience. Conflicts here tend to play out on a much smaller scale, closer to helping someone out in town or solving a minor mystery than to stopping some cosmic entity bent on erasing existence. There are tense moments, sure, but most of the time, you never feel like the universe is going to end just because you spent an extra 5 minutes harvesting a plant. The alchemy here, like in every Atelier game, is really satisfying. Different tools pull different materials from the same gathering spot. Axe, sickle, hammer, and you arrange it all on a grid of elemental nodes to discover new recipes. Combat here blends turn-based structure with real time. The clock keeps running while you decide your next command, which gives it a nice sense of urgency without tipping into chaos. One heads up if you go looking for it. The original version came out in 2019, but got discontinued in late 2025 to make room for the DX version, which added new playable characters and extra content.
Join forces and build a ravaged world into the realm.
Dragon Quest Builders 2 has a premise I personally find hilarious. The world is run by a cult that banned building and cooking. You're the last builder, you arrive on an empty island with a mysterious kid named Malroth, and your very first task, no joke, is rebuilding civilization starting with a bathroom. What makes this game work for me more than anything else is that the villagers actually use what you built. You place a bed, someone sleeps in it. Build a kitchen, someone cooks. Plant wheat, they harvest it, turn it into bread, and come thank you for it. It's a small, constant reward machine, and that's exactly where it separates itself from Minecraft for me. Here, there's always a task list. The game tells you what to do, you do it, the village levels up, new materials unlock. Nobody's stuck staring at a blank canvas wondering what to build. An honest heads up, the campaign runs past 50 hours and holds your hand for quite a while before letting you loose in free mode. If long tutorials drive you crazy, brace yourself. This one's for people who want to build but need someone pointing the way first. Either way though, it's fun from start to finish.
In a world that's higher and wider than ever before.
Fantasy Life is the whole reason I made this video. I'm at 48 hours right now, and it's a phenomenal game. You can choose from a bunch of different professions called lives, like paladin, cook, carpenter. Seriously, there's a ton of them. And you switch between them on the fly with a single button with zero penalty. The story's fun, the characters are genuinely charming, and the soundtrack is great to listen to. In my view, that's what makes this game work so well after a bad day. Came home wrecked and don't want to think? Become an angler and spend half an hour by the riverbank. Got energy to spare? Become a paladin. Just want to organize something? Become a carpenter and furnish the whole house. None of the other games on this list do that. In all of them, you're the one adapting to the game's mood. In this one, the game adapts to yours. On top of that, there's a ruined island to rebuild, travel between past and present, online co-op, a soundtrack composed by Nobuo Uematsu, yes, the same composer behind Final Fantasy, and a free expansion that added a roguelike style open world that changes every visit. I won't pretend it's the best game on this list because it isn't. It's in first place because in my opinion, it packs more comfortable, low-pressure activity into a single adventure than anything else here. The real risk is turning those 14 professions into a checklist to complete. Ignore that urge and the game stays wonderfully light. To close out the list, a relaxing RPG isn't the same thing as an empty, easy, or aimless game. There's tough combat in here, there are deep systems, there's a 50-hour campaign. What actually lowers your stress is something else entirely. Stepping into a world where the problem is clear, progress shows up on screen, and there's always some small task you can finish before bed. And now, I want to hear from you. What RPG do you usually play when you need to shut your brain off and forget about real life for a bit? Drop it in the comments, because there's always a good recommendation in there I haven't heard of yet. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps a lot. Anyway, see you in the next one.